Howdy and welcome back. Here's a quick look at the heart and soul of Pokerface, which is the manager box. The manager box is a tool to use during your draft by keeping this draft window open as well as your draft lobby. Not only does the manager box track the typical opponent information such as balances and picks, the most handy feature and the reason that I built this tool to begin with are these statistics right down here. They are tilt rank, the FPC and MVC, which are value comparisons, and the degree of desperation. Tilt rank is simply a measure of how active a manager is based on their number of recent picks as well as their overall picks and their rank amongst the lead in those picks. FPC is Fantasy Pros Compare, which gives us the average of how much over or under an opponent is spending on players. FPC is the Fantasy Pro comparison, and MVC is the My Values comparison, which is a comparison to what you think the player is worth. Right now they're the same because my default settings have FPC and My Values set as the same. I haven't gone in and updated all of my values. Having these statistics is huge during a draft since they tell us how little or much value opponents are getting on average out of their picks. An opponent's values are the most important factor to a successful draft, and they are always a closely guarded secret. And this tool lets you take an estimated peek at their poker hand, enabling you to really mess with their draft via price enforcement and upbidding. The degree of desperation is my absolute favorite. These stats tell you how desperate an opponent is for a given position based on the number of top-ranked players remaining in that given position. For wide receivers, that number is top 36. Let's say that there are only 4 of the top 36 wides remaining, and your opponent only has 1. And he needs at least 3 or 4 on his roster. His degree of desperation for those top remaining wides will be large. And knowing that, this gives you a huge statistical advantage. So let's say that Julio Jones comes up on the block, high-ranked wide receiver. He's position ranked number 3, and he's actually the top 1 left remaining. Fantasy Pros and your current value says he's going to go for $54, and this person over here on average is spending $2 more per player than they really should be. So we can guess that if they had a high degree of desperation for wides, that they'd be willing to spend somewhere around $56. You can price enforce based off of this information, as well as know their intent depending on their degree of desperation. I cannot stress enough how awesome this tool has been for me during the draft. The manager box refreshes every time there's a pick. Let's say that this guy went to Brock for $56. There he goes. Everything resets. There's his pick, and his degree and stats also change in here as well. If this were the only feature, these statistics, if these were the only features in Pokerface, I'd still think it's the most valuable part of the tool. That's it for the quick look at Manager Box. Thanks for tuning in.